So again, as this, sorry, there's something came up there. Do I continue or?
Yep, drive on, Joanne. I just,
Yeah, I've had, something popped up in front of me.
yeah, there was a request to record the meeting, so I did that. Okay, drive on.
So
Sorry.
so again, as Brian had mentioned, before we begin, as a courtesy to others, is to please mute your microphone for the presentation. As well, if you would like to share congratulations, please feel free to use the chat feature if you want to send congratulations on. So as I prepared for this event, I asked myself, what if there was no agriculture in Lambton County? Where would we be? And, you know, Lambton County has the topography, the climate, and fertile soil that allows for such a diverse agricultural community with a broad range of commodities. If you think about it, throughout this county, we have fruit and vegetable growers, maple syrup, cash crop, woodlots, vineyards, greenhouses. And for me, I think this is somewhat unique to the province. And it's truly hard to imagine Lambton County without agriculture. However, I will say one thing is for absolutely sure is we wouldn't be here this evening celebrating our 3 inductees, Sid Fraley, Donna Stewartson, and Kevin Myriad without agriculture. So each in their own way have made a significant contribution to agriculture in Lambton County and beyond. And it's wonderful to see this group that we have assembled here for this important occasion. You're representing all aspects of their lives, a mix of family, friends, commodity groups, co-workers, Hall of Fame trustees, and special guests representing the federal, provincial, and municipal governments. So just a bit about the Hall of Fame. The Lambton Agricultural Hall of Fame honors individuals, organizations, and businesses that have a positive influence on agriculture and the rural community within the borders of Lambton County. In all cases, these inductees have influenced, changed, and contributed to the agriculture industry regionally, provincially, nationally, and in some instances, internationally. And we strive to honor the success that they've had, understanding that this is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, I think most importantly, love of what they do. So since our inception in 2010, we've inducted 16 members of the Lambton Agricultural Hall of Fame. Each inductee has left their own mark. Jackson Brown Jr., and that's the author, not the rock star, said, "We celebrate those who don't work for recognition, but do work worthy of recognition." And I think that's a really important statement. We would like to take a moment here to thank the Lambton Federation of Agriculture. They deserve our thanks for their continued and valued support for the Hall of Fame. They have created an LFA on their LFA website, an interactive display where you can find stories of the current and past inductees. And as well, the Lambton Heritage Museum hosts a display that's also for public viewing. At this time, I'd like to take a moment as well to introduce the trustees for the Lambton Hall of Fame. So there's myself as the chair, Gary Atkinson, Brian Boyle, Ferguson, Irene Jardine, Kyle Ma, Brenda Miner, Brenda Stewartson, Blair Williamson, and John Young. And as well, we have Christina Hyatt as our valued secretary treasurer. So we're a great hardworking group, I think. So tonight we have 2 trustees have been invited to introduce each inductee and present the plaque virtually. We're really hoping, and I got my fingers crossed, that in the near future we'll have the opportunity to present these plaques to the inductees in person. But that time is not now. Each inductee is presented with a plaque that reads, "Recognizing those who made an impact on agriculture and their community." A common plaque with the name of all the inductees for the Hall of Fame are hung in the fair buildings in the county. That's Alvinston, Brigden, Forest, Petrolia, and Wyoming. And there's also one hung in the County of Lambton building. So at this time, I would like to invite our Vice Chair, Gary Atkinson, to assist in introducing our 2021 Lambton Agricultural Hall of Fame inductees. Gary?
Thank you, Joanne. Our first inductee this evening is Sid Fraley. Making the presentation to Sid will be Mr. Brian Boyle, assisted by Mr. John Young. Brian?
Okay, thanks, Gary and Joanne, and it's my pleasure to be here with you tonight, gang. John will be getting involved in the presentation of the plaque, and then I have some words to say here about Sid. And what we'd like to start off with is contribution to agriculture community within Lambton County. Sid has always been very active in Lambton County, whether it is a neighborhood and township level or across the large county. Agriculture, and specifically the swine sector, were of great interest to Sid throughout his life. Sid's interest and ability to represent the wishes and concerns of fellow pork producers started in Lambton. As a local director, he developed his leadership skills and he was elected chair of Lambton Pork Producers. Sid was always actively promoting pork across Lambton County, not only as a viable agricultural sector, but as a nutritious product for consumers. So for many years, he and a good friend, along with their spouses and families, provided a pork barbecue service for groups across Lambton. And Sid always did his best to prepare a quality product that left a lasting positive impression with consumers and encouraged them to put pork on their fork. He was a 4-H swine club leader, where he not only enthused the young 4-H members about the potential of swine sector, but he instilled in them practical knowledge relating to nutrition, housing, breeding, and health. As an active member of the Forest Agricultural Society, who organizes the Forest Fair, he brought his business acumen to that organization, and he took a lead in fundraising to help ensure that it remains a very vibrant organization to this day. As an elected councillor in Besanquet Township Council, a precursor to Lambton Shores, Sid worked hard to ensure that the rural taxpayers were well represented in all council decisions. These local municipal council activities developed Sid's interest in wider political involvement. Now, in terms of contributions to agriculture outside of Lambton County, Sid's greatest contribution to agriculture outside of Lambton could best be described as pork and politics. From his initial role as a regional director, he became chairman of Ontario Pork Producers Marketing Board for over 10 years. And the OPPMB represented all pork producers in Ontario and had the responsibility to market all the hogs grown in Ontario. Sid presided over the OPPMB during some tumultuous times as the number of hog producers shrank substantially, but the size of commercial operations showed major growth. His responsibilities and respect garnered in Ontario led him to represent Ontario for 5 years on the Canadian Pork Council, which represents swine producers across Canada. And in politics, Sid chose to represent farmers and the rural community of Lambton, Middlesex on the federal stage. Sid was elected to the 31st and the 33rd Canadian parliaments between the years of 1979 and 1988. In both terms, he was an active member of the Agricultural Committee of the House of Commons as one of the few MPs who had been actively farming. He shared his expertise in many areas, such as trade issues, farm support, agricultural policy, quality control, and inspection. And after his political career, his expertise was recognized as he was chosen to join several bodies, including the Agricultural Research Institute of Ontario, a 5-year term on the International Trade Tribunal, and the Appeal Board for Ontario Humane Societies. Now, in terms of business development, Sid was a farmer by choice. He was actually born and raised in the town of Forest, and at an early age, he aspired to be a farmer. After their marriage, he and Val made a modest start by purchasing their home farm near Forest. The farm grew continuously through buildings and land acquisitions to become a 400-acre unit, with the crops grown to supply feed to an expanding farrow-to-finish swine operation that produced up to 4,000 finished hogs per year. Sid was always looking for ways to do things better on the farm, more efficiently, or with greater positive impact. He prided himself on running a commercially viable hog operation to demonstrate it to all with whom he worked that he could, in fact, walk the talk. Sid and Val always maintained an attractive yet functional farmstead with many buildings in their production facility. One of Sid and Val's goals was to create a viable farm operation that could be continued on by the next generation. And in 1979, when Sid went into federal politics, his son Mark took over the farming and is still actively involved in operating it today. Now, Sid made contributions to the community beyond agriculture as well. In his 90 years of active living, Sid has always been an engaged and supportive community member outside of his agricultural interests. He has been an active member of the Anglican Church in Forest, and during retirement has contributed by driving cancer patients to their appointments. Sid was a member of the Finance Committee for both the Forest Curling Club expansion and the building of the $8 million Shores Recreation Center in Forest. Sid has been a life member and an active participant in the Forest Curling Club. He also supported his children through many sports, school, and community activities throughout their youth. Now, in terms of personal development, when we think of Sid, many descriptors come to mind. Strong work ethic. Sid always recognized the value of hard work and commitment to a task. When his farm organization work took him away from the farm for meetings, he would often return home after a day-long meeting to complete the farm chores or the seasonal tasks at hand. Leadership. From his high school days with coaching teams and acting as commanding officer for Army cadets, through his work with local farm organizations, chairman of the Ontario Pork Producers Marketing Board, as well as during his political career, Sid has demonstrated strong leadership. He recognized that it was only by exemplifying integrity and innovation that he could gain the trust and respect of others. A family man. His wife, Val, and 5 children, Linda, Mike, David, Wendy, and Mark, all describe Sid as an excellent and loving husband, father, mentor, and a positive influence on their lives. Sid had the patience to be a good teacher and a role model as he taught his children valuable skills and life lessons. A good listener. Sid realizes that good communication is a two-way process. His listening ability and sense of humor often allowed him to diffuse some potential conflicts in organizational and political activities. Working for the collective good. Sid was often involved in activities within the community, farm, and political organizations for the collective good. Sid was also always cognizant to maintain the balance between time and energy spent for the collective good with the time and energy required by his active farming operation and young family. Progressive and innovative. In many situations, Sid demonstrated that he could think outside the box and aim for goals that would be a benefit to many. One example was when, as chair of Ontario Pork Producers Marketing Board, he helped develop an export market in Japan for Ontario pork that flourished and still exists today, having a positive impact on the sustainable financial returns to Ontario swine farmers. And success-oriented. Sid always gave any activity his determined best shot. But if it did not work out, he would learn from that experience to build other successes. And over his lifetime, his successes greatly outnumbered situations classified as learning experiences. So in terms of length of service, we'd have to say that since his graduation from the University of Guelph, Sid has been serving the agricultural community for nearly 70 years. Sid Fraley is a man of integrity who works for the common good. He made an exemplary contribution to the agricultural community in Lampton, across Ontario, and tonight we are inducting him as a very worthy member of Lambton Agricultural Hall of Fame. Joanne, you're on.
Yeah, I am. I was trying to unmute there. I was losing my spot. Yes, thank you very much, Brian. At this time, I would like to invite Blair Williamson and Brenda Stewartson to introduce Donna Stewartson. Blair?
Donna's love for agriculture started at a young age. She was raised on the family farm, married a farmer, and was the key element to the growth of her family and their success of their farm business within Lampton. Carrying an enthusiasm to forward the causes of agriculture started early on. For several years, she promoted dairy farming to the community as a Lambton County dairy princess. With a keen interest in farm politics and the environment, she began her agricultural political leadership. In 1981, she was elected to the Lambton County Federation of Agriculture Board of Directors and later as a regional director for the Ontario Federation of Agriculture. In 1987, Donna became the first woman president of LFA. Donna's energetic approach led her to help solve many of the rural community challenges, such as the formation of the Lampton Rural Childcare Program, which began as a pilot project in Lampton. Donna worked with OMAF staff and members of the Women's Institute to put on a new program called Agriculture in the Classroom for teachers and students. With an enthusiasm for protecting the environment, she represented farmers on the Sarnia Chamber of Commerce Environment Committee. As a field inspector, she assisted landowners with habitat and pollution issues with the newly formed Rural Lampton Stewardship Program. Concerning Lake Huron and St. Clair River, Donna was on the Remedial Action Committee Advisory Board for Sarnia. Donna's work proved to help the primary concerns and well-being of farmers. Never forgetting the importance of individual farmers, Donna represented agriculture in not only local, but provincial, national, and international appointments, many with breakthroughs in gender barriers. She was elected to the board of directors of the Ontario Federation of Agriculture and later elected to the executive and as vice president. She was the only woman in the 7-member executive committee. She was chair of the OFA Environmental Committee and on the Public Advisory Committee for the International Joint Commission between the USA and Canada. She was appointed to the Provincial Advisory Committee for Rural Development, the Agricultural Research Council Institute of Ontario, Fair Tax Commission, and appointed to the Committee to review the Environmental Bill of Rights for Agriculture. Donna was both a participant and observer with the Stable Funding Resolution that originally started in Lambton County, which later in 1990 evolved into provincial legislation for forming the Farm Business Registration Program. As an advocate for farmers, Donna was a proactive voice during a time with extremely high interest rates, changing trade rules, and environmental concerns. Donna was elected for 12 years representing agriculture on the board of directors of the Cooperatives Insurance of Canada. She was also on the executive, plus several other in-house boards and committees. One committee which hired the first female CEO of the Cooperators. Together with her husband Don in 1957, they purchased their first 100-acre farm in Besanquet Township. The farm started with laying hens, hogs, and 10 Holstein cows that they milked by hand. Donna was a full partner with Don in the growth and success of the farm. With a strong work ethic, they raised their 3 sons and continually strived to grow the farm. With energy and determination, They increased the land base to 600 acres and expanded the dairy herd to 80 Holsteins and renovated and had one of the first milking parlors in Lambton. Continuing to the next generation was a goal that Donna and Don took very seriously. They sold their initial farm operation to their youngest son and daughter-in-law. Donna and Don moved around the corner from the home farm and renovated a century-old home, offering a bed and breakfast. The B&B offered a place for people to meet and show the travelers a working farm. They continued to farm with a cropping and cow-calf operation. While living close to the home dairy farm, they also helped with the growth and success of the next generation in farming. Today, their grandchildren are actively farming with crops, milking cows, and broiler chickens. Elected as a councillor for the township of Besanquet allowed Donna's love for politics and people to prosper. She served on the Committee of Adjustment, Waste Management Committee when the recycling program began, and the Arena Committee. She was on the founding committee of the North Lampton Community Health Center. Donna's ability to listen and learn led her to be a part of the Mental Health Association of Sarnia and mentor a child through the Sarnia Lampton Big Brothers program. Locally, Donna spent many years actively involved with Libro Credit Union Council and on the board of directors of the Huron Country Playhouse. Presently, she is a member and deacon of Knox Presbyterian Church in Thetford. Continuing education was a priority over the years, and Donna participated in many opportunities to improve skills. Some of these included powerful communication skills, creativity, and risk-taking. Also psychology courses, effective speaking, human relations, and financial literacy. Through experience and training, Donna was able to define issues with clearness and conviction. In Donna's words, from childhood to retirement, be able to stand up and introduce oneself and say, "I'm a farmer," is one of the most rewarding things in ever. In retirement, Donna is enjoying watching the next generations of family engaged in farming and knowing that the Stewartson family in agriculture will continue, as well as the rewarding experience of being a grandparent to a growing family of 10 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. Donna and her husband, Don, reside in a century-old home on a peaceful road in Lambton Shores, where they enjoy the tranquility of the rural space. It's an exemplary contribution to the agricultural community. This evening, Donna Stewartson will be inducted into the Lambton Agricultural Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Donna.
Thank you, Blair, and thank you, Brenda. Our next inductee for the evening is Mr. Kevin Myriad. I would ask Brenda Miner and Mr. Dave Ferguson to make the presentation to Kevin, please.
Welcome this evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for attending the Lampton Agriculture Hall of Fame Induction 2021. I am David Ferguson, and I will be co-hosting my segment with Brenda Miner. For my honor this evening, I'm wearing a tuxedo inherited from a past inductee. I did ask him of any objections, and upon hearing none, I am pleased to be using this tux as a bit of a bridge from the past to the present. One thing in common that the 3 inductees this evening have is their passion to enhance agriculture in the county of Lambton, the province of Ontario, and our country, Canada. They willingly, generously shared and gave expertise and time to all of us. Brenda and I am pleased to share with you a synopsis of our inductee, Mr. Kevin Myriad. Like many of us in Lambton County, Kevin was born at CEE Hospital in Petrolia, raised on a family farm on Shiloh Line in Enniskillen Township. He completed his high school education at LCCVI in Petrolia. With his love of agriculture and his desire to further his education, he enrolled at Ridgetown College, now the University of Boyle campus, with a diploma in agriculture, production, and management.
As a youth, Kevin was an active member of the agricultural community, involved with beef, pork, and cash crops. Today, he remains an active participant, developing his farming operation not only in acreage worked, but focusing on cash crops with the center of attention being on identity preserved food grade soybeans. Also a forward thinker, Kevin was one of the first to practice no-till farming in Enniskillen Township beginning in 1988. Throughout the years, he has been actively involved in various groups and activities within Lambton County, many of them in leadership capacities. They have included being a member of the Enniskillen and Don 4-H Beef Club, where he mentored the next generation. And he went on to become a member of the Lambton County 4-H Leaders Association. He was a member of the Enniskillen Township Junior Farmers and director and eventually president of Lambton County Junior Farmers, and participated in many county and provincial activities. He also served on the Lambton County Soybean Committee, the Grain Farmers of Ontario, Agriculture in the Classroom, the Lampton Soil and Crop Improvement Association, and as well, the Blue Water Conservation Club. Provincially and internationally, he has shared his devotion and dedication to agriculture in many ways. As a provincial director for Ontario soybean growers for over 10 years, a founding provincial director of the Grain Farmers of Ontario, he shared his time, his knowledge, and his expertise as this organization developed their mission statement and laid the foundation for future generations of farmers to work from. On the international stage, he held a position of director on the American Soybean Association. A great ambassador for Canada, he helped evolve government programs that to this day are the foundation used in lobbying our Canadian government in the growth of our commodity programs. In 2008, Kevin led a delegation to Japan to promote Canadian food grade soybeans. To this day, he continues to grow food grade soybeans for the Japanese market, which must be GMO free. He has served as a Canadian director on the National Biodiesel Board for 5 years and was part of the Canadian Farm Debt Mediation Board panel for a 3-year term. Kevin's personal growth eventually prepared him for a role in the municipal world, and he was elected a councillor for Enniskillen Township in 1994. After serving in committees throughout the years, he was elected deputy mayor for 7 years before becoming mayor in 2011. On December 2nd, 2020, he was elected the 159th warden of Lambton County. Regardless of his station in life, Kevin continues to support the agricultural community as he has done for the past 40 plus years. Kevin has always been a good friend and very approachable whenever his advice or expertise was required. Both Dave and I, as well as other members of the Hall of Fame, have been fortunate to work with Kevin on different boards in Lambton County over the years, and he always brings knowledge and a positive outlook in whatever task he has been given. Kevin plans to continue farming, hopefully learning and developing farming practices, and at the same time encouraging new farmers to grow and take an active part in their agricultural community. It is our pleasure, Kevin, to present you, Mr. Kevin Myriad, an inductee into the Lambton Federation Hall of Fame for 2021.
Thank you, Brenda, and thank you, Dave. By the way, Dave, you are the best dressed person here this evening. This evening, we also have some very special guests who have joined with us, and now would like to share congratulatory messages. As I introduce you, I would ask you to please unmute yourself. First of all, I'd like to invite Marilyn Gladue, Member of Parliament for Sarnia-Lampton, to share a few remarks. Marilyn?
Thank you, Gary, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. It's a pleasure for me to be here on behalf of the federal government to honor Sid Fraley, Donna Stewartson, and Kevin Myriad. You have all served your community and the field of agriculture well and taken us to a new level of excellence. So I applaud you tonight, I congratulate you, and I am so happy to be here to see this honor. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you, Marilyn. I would next like to invite Leanne Rood, the Member of Parliament for the riding of Lambton, Kent, and Middlesex to speak, please. Leanne?
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Tonight is such a special night, and as the Shadow Minister for Agriculture on behalf of the Conservative Party, I just want to congratulate Kevin and Donna and Sid. This is such a significant industry to our area, to our country, and I have to say I do have quite a bit of common with some of the inductees tonight growing up on a farm, and I share your passion for agriculture, and I think we also share a passion for politics. Clearly, agriculture is an important part of Canada, and it just shows how important that agriculture and politics is to have people from this industry who've been involved in such great decision making. And I just want to acknowledge how proud we are of your contributions and all the contributions you made to the agriculture industry, and really want to thank you for your dedication and commitment to progressing agriculture throughout the years. I admire your involvement, and thanks again, and congratulations for this honor tonight. You deserve it.
Thank you, Leanne. I'd now like to introduce the Honourable Monty Mcnaughton, Member of the Provincial Parliament for the riding of Lambton, Kent and Middlesex. Monty?
Thanks, Gary. Hi, everyone. It's great to see so many people out tonight on this really special night. I want to thank all of the farmers in particular for everything that you and your families have been doing over the last 14 or 15 months. Truly challenging times for everyone. Also, thanks to the Lambton Federation of Agriculture for your leadership and really ensuring that we're spreading, the importance of agriculture and farming in all of our communities in Lambton County. To Sid, Donna, Kevin, thank you for everything. Congratulations on your recognitions tonight. You all are well deserving. I'm proud to call you friends and mentors. So thank you for everything you've done. I also want to say thanks to your families, because I know all of your families and they've been there to support you and our communities as well. So thank you, everyone. Congratulations and God bless.
Thank you, Monty. I'd now like to call on Bob Bailey, MPP for the riding of Sarnia-Lambton. Bob?
Well, thank you, Chairman Gary, and of course, Brian and Joanne and the Federation of Agriculture as a whole for hosting this. I think I've been at all of your either in-person installations, inaugurals for your members over the years, and this is certainly no different tonight. Pleasure to be here. I'm really pleased because for once, I know all three of the nominees. I think this is maybe the first time we've had three nominees. Anyway, all well-deserving. I've known Sid and Val Fraley for a long time, longer than I'll go into tonight, but they're great friends. They were friends of my mom and dad's. And of course, we got Donna Stewartson and Don. I worked with both of them on a number of organizations over the years, and it was expressed about the importance of family, and of course, their dairy leadership, and of course, Donna's leadership in the various federation jobs that she had over the years, and showed leadership, one of the first female farmers and business people to take those positions. And I'm sure she set the way for a number of young women that are going to follow her and do well in agriculture. And of course, Kevin Myriad, Warden Kevin Myriad, 159th Mayor, Warden of Lambton County. Kevin was actually my mayor for a counselor for a number of years, mayor of the township that I grew up in. And again, I'm very pleased to see Kevin. I know him as a very progressive young farmer out there, all kinds of young and new ideas in farming. And he's a real leader in the agricultural community, a real leader in the municipal politics, where he's advanced now to warden. I call on him, and a number of people call on him for advice in the political field. He's shown great leadership. Of course, this year with COVID, chairing a committee and his responsibilities as warden over the year. And I'd like to, for all three of our nominees, and inductees, I guess is a better word to put it, I also bring greetings on behalf of the provincial government. And of course, Minister Ernie Hardman expresses his best wishes to all three of you. And I just wish Ernie was here with us tonight. But anyway, with that, Chair, I would like to congratulate all three. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and let's keep supporting agriculture and thank a farmer if you ate today. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. I now call upon Mr. Bill Weber, the Mayor of Lambton Shores, for a few remarks. Bill?
Thank you, Gary, and thanks to the Federation of Agriculture for having this Hall of Fame and putting these well-deserving individuals, entering them into the Hall of Fame. When you hear their bios that have been, their introductions, it really is a true credit to agriculture. And these people, among others, but these people specifically have put a Lampton County on the map, on the world stage with their contributions over the number of years. On behalf of the Lampton Council, on behalf of Bazanquet, I know two of our inductees started out with Bazanquet and now it's Lampton Shores. We're proud to have the agriculture section. We're proud to have Bazanquet part of that growing community. So the foundation has been put there because of agriculture. Our community wouldn't be what it is without the people. All three of these inductees have made such a contribution to the foundation of the county, where we're going, the family farms, the whole aspect of this is because of people that are being inducted here tonight. So on behalf of the Lampton Shores Council, I congratulate each of you and thank you for the years, the dedication, what you have done. And I'm going to stick one little thing in here. I understand there's someone has a 63rd wedding anniversary, if I'm correct with that. And congratulations to Don and Donna for that contribution as well. And with that, I will say thank you to all of you and congratulations, well deserved. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. On behalf of the residents of Enniskillen Township, I'll now call on Deputy Mayor Judy Kroll for a few words as well. Judy?
Thanks, Gary. On behalf of council and the residents of Enniskillen, I wish to congratulate Kevin Myriad on his induction into the Lampton Agricultural Hall of Fame. He's been an excellent advocate for agriculture, starting with his involvement in the junior farmers to the grain farmers of Ontario, and of course, his municipality, where he continues serving as mayor and currently warden for Lambton County. Congratulations also to Donna Stewartson. Donna, it was during your time as president of the Lambton Federation of Agriculture that you championed agriculture in the classroom. Without your dedication to this, farmers would not have had a chance to tell their story in the classroom today. Mr. Fraley, thank you for serving as our elected representative in Ottawa and for demonstrating such wonderful leadership. You are someone as a true mentor to be looked up to. And on behalf of myself, I want to thank you for having me to deliver some words here this evening. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Judy. To each of our special guests, I want to thank you for clearing your schedule to join with us tonight. Your presence and your kind words have made this evening most gratifying. I would also like to recognize that we have several other municipal leaders who have taken the time to join with us virtually tonight as well. They will be sharing their special wishes to each of our honorees as the evening concludes. Thank you to each and every one of them. I'll now turn it back to Joanne.
Thank you, everyone. Those were very kind and thoughtful messages for Sid, Donna, and Kevin. So as was mentioned throughout some of those, what we've heard today is how important family and friends like farming are to our inductees. They're the foundation of our support. And I would like to take a moment to introduce a few of those support people before I ask the inductees to say a few words. So we're very pleased to have Sid Fraley's family here this evening with his wife, Val, and his children and his grandchildren. So I'd like to introduce his children are Linda and Bill McIntyre with their two children, Andrew and Jill. Wendy and Ian LeConte, David and Beth Fraley with their children, Tina, Tara, Shanda, Georgia, and Oliver, Mike and Terry Fraley, and Mark Fraley and Jane Mayhew. As well, I would like to make special note of 3 special guests who were generously submitted letters of support for Mr. Fraley. And we have Charlie and Donna Gracie, Dean and Connie Percy, and Harry and Darrell Brightwell. As well, there's many thanks to the Lambton County pork producers and Mika Campbell, who submitted the nomination for Sid. So at this time, I would like to invite Linda to share a few thoughts. So you just have to unmute, Linda, and away you go. Is she there? Does she have function?
Can you hear me? Sorry.
That's
Yeah,
good,
we can
Linda.
hear
I
you.
was
We
just
can hear you now.
encouraging you there.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you couldn't
Yeah.
hear me before. Okay.
No, you can start
Okay.
over again.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's
So,
okay.
No problem.
Just imagine that my voice is a little bit lower and maybe a little bit gruffer, but these are our dad's words. I'm very pleased to be with you this evening. I'm honored to share this and celebrate this award with Donna and Kevin. Thank you to the selection committee of the Lampton Agriculture Hall of Fame for your consideration. I am so appreciative of all Brian's efforts to gather so much information. You've been such a respectful champion, Brian. I feel fortunate that I have been able to contribute to agricultural endeavors in my community in this very productive county. My 90 years of life experience have reinforced my appreciation for the opportunities afforded me living in Lambton. I've said many a time that there is no other place that I would rather live and enjoy life. Let me tell you that it is not my sole effort that brings this award to me tonight. I could not ask for more encouragement and support than I have received from my family and friends through the years. I want to make special mention of my wife, Val. She has been my most committed supporter for the more than 68 years. Thank you to Charlie, Dean, and Harry for your very kind words. There are so many who have touched and contributed to our lives in a meaningful way. Too many to mention, and that would take more time than we have here tonight. My gratitude for those touches is immeasurable. I'm proud to receive this award. Congratulations to my fellow inductees, and thank you to everyone for helping me celebrate this achievement. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Linda. Donna Stewartson is here with her husband, Don, who looks to be hiding in the background. And she has her 3 children and spouses. So there's Bill and Diane, Tom and Nancy, and Jeff and Brenda. And I suspect if I could look at everyone, there might be a few grandchildren lurking about. Special thanks to Mac Parker for nominating Donna. And as well, we have Peggy Bredfield from Ontario Federation of Agriculture, Lori Rood from Lambton Rural Childcare, along with the Lambton Federation of Agriculture, and they all submitted letters of support. So we're very thankful for that. So Donna, I would invite you to unmute. You can unmute now and share a few thoughts.
Okay, are we on?
You're on, man.
Very good. Thank you, Chair. A huge thank you, members of the Lambton Agriculture Hall of Fame, for this honor. I'm also proud to share this honor with Sid and Kevin. Thanks to the nominators, and you just mentioned the Lambton and Ontario Federation of Agriculture, Lambton Rural Childcare, and Mac Parker, a former Federation president. We also only accomplished this level of recognition with a lot of support and assistance from family and colleagues along the way. To the colleagues on the boards and committees I was elected or appointed to over the years, I wish to thank you for your support as well as treating me as an equal. If there ever was a glass ceiling for me, either I did not notice or I just crashed through it. Thank you so much for the support and encouraging me to strive ahead and taking on responsibility at higher levels. Many, many thanks to my husband, Don, of 64 years this week, who deserves praise for that alone. To go from being used to me being on the farm, working with him every day, milking cows, field work, spring through fall, or just general farm work every day of the week. And then she was gone. Our three sons, Bill, Tom, and Jeff, also worked endless hours on the dairy farm when they were growing up. After agriculture college, Jeff returned to the farm to start his dairy herd and work every day. This allowed me more opportunity to work on behalf of the Ontario farmers through the Ontario Federation of Agriculture and leave the farm work at home to these very capable fellows. I have to admit, I have been enjoying retirement, living amongst the family members who are carrying on the Stewartson farm operations, plus adding more to it. I have lived on 3 farmsteads in Besanquet Township. I was born on one, and then we got married and we lived on another, and then we've semi-retired to a 3rd one. And they were all on Rural Route 3 Thetford. So I don't know if you call me a world traveler or not. To become a grandmother was a lifetime dream. While our sons and daughter-in-laws have given us 10 grandchildren, as was mentioned before, who have given us 3 great-grandchildren and more on the way. I am a lucky woman. My life has been fulfilled, to say the least. In closing, just wish to say, if we have family members and friends out there tonight, thanks for spending the time with us and supporting me and my family. And I do see some of them, and I see a namesake there that's named Donna Marie after me. Hi, Donna. And I heard Nicole was on here, granddaughter, and some more, Tom and Nancy I see up there. Thank you so much for taking time on your Friday night to be with me. And thank you to this committee. It's unbelievable. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Donna. So the Hall of Fame at this time would like to thank William and Dorothy Miller for nominating our next inductee, Kevin, and along with Wayne McKay and Irvin Sire, provided what I would call heartfelt letters of support for this induction. And at this time, I would like to invite Kevin to share a few thoughts. So you'll need to unmute as well, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Joanne. That's a hard act to follow. It is a real honor, and I'm very humbled to be included with the other inductees, Sid and Donna, as well as many other amazing individuals receiving the recognition in previous years. I've always been very proud to be a resident of Lambton County and feel very fortunate to have had the opportunity to be a farmer here. I'm a 5th generation farmer on both sides of the family. My great-great-grandparents from both my mom and dad came to Canada in the mid-1800s, and I'm sure glad they decided on Lambton County. My dad's first farmed in Plympton before moving to Enniskillen in 1900. My mom's family first settled in Moore Township before ending up in Don Township. And actually all 4 of my grandparents were many generational farmers. My involvement with provincial organizations helped me realize that there is no better place in Ontario than right here in Lambton for many reasons. I've also seen how envious farmers from many areas of Ontario are of us here in Lambton. In my opinion, we have the best of so many things of any county in Ontario, starting with geography. When showing visitors from other parts of the country or other countries, Lake Huron and the St. Clair River are as picture perfect as any other body of the world, with sand beaches as nice as anywhere. Although clay soils are dominant, various soil types allow a wide range of crops to be grown, as well as allowing for very diverse farming operations. Farmers here are innovative and industry leading in many ways. Although we can have extreme weather, it seems like we are spared the worst compared to most counties or regions in Ontario. The birth of the oil industry in Enniskillen in 1858 gave Lambton County wealth with the petrochemical industry, giving off-farm income for those who chose that to supplement their farms, which I believe was important for the success of many Lambton farms today. Lambton County's lower and upper tier of municipal government is very efficient and one of the best, allowing affordable taxes compared to almost every county in Ontario. Our network of drainage ditches is the envy of some other areas in Ontario. Even though spending almost 3 decades on municipal council, these drains have been the most controversial. My travels to other areas made me appreciate our north, south, and east-west road system. Flying over Lampton and seeing this from the air always made me appreciate the early settlers and their wisdom in laying out this great county. As I said earlier, Lampton's farmers are some of the best innovators in the province, but we also have had our fair share of leaders, both in agricultural organizations as well as political positions, as we heard here tonight with Sid. There are too many to name, but having both a provincial and federal member serve as the Minister of Agriculture here from Lampton shows we have real leadership. Of all the organizations I served on, proud to serve as the president of Junior Farmers when there were over 600 members. There are many people in a county I wouldn't have got to know without that involvement, including some on this meeting tonight. It was that interaction that made me decide to take a run at Township Council. But I was only going to serve 1 or maybe 2 terms, but there always seemed to be another issue that drew me to run again. Back to farm organizations, there's definitely one individual here tonight that I owe much credit to for staying involved and wanting to improve Lambton County. That would be none other than Mr. Brian Boyle. I guaranteed had Brian not chosen Lambton in the very early 80s, we would not be the progressive county we are today. His vision and encouragement for many farmers has been amazing. When Lambton still had an OMAFRA office in Petrolia, it was the most aggressive and effective agricultural office in all of Ontario, not only for encouraging farmers to improve, but to join organizations and show leadership. Joanne on this Hall of Fame board is another good example of the lasting benefits of that important part of Lambton's history. I would like to thank the entire Hall of Fame board and LFA for all the work done and continue to do to make these awards happen. I have known all of you in one capacity or another for some time. Thanks to Irene for helping me remember everything that I was involved in when I was nominated. I would like to thank my nominators, Bill and Dorothy Miller from St. Clair Township, for your thoughtfulness to submit my name. I can't forget Wayne McKay for the encouragement to let my name stand for this. I will probably miss some, but there are others I want to thank, cover everyone, friends, family, and neighbors. Thanks again very much for this opportunity, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. So congratulations to Sid Fraley, Donna Stewartson, and Kevin Myriad for a lifetime of sharing your time, your energy, and your skills, both with and away from your farm and family. As my dad would say, when we wanted to go with them is, remember, somebody had to stay home to do the chores. So in closing, I'd like to thank all of you for attending this celebration, because for some of you, if this was an in-person event, you may not have been able to attend otherwise. So I'm very pleased we have this forum that we can use to make this happen and that we can all be together. At this time, I would like to encourage everyone, as they're able to turn their video on. And that's the small video button. Make sure it's everybody can see, because on the count of 3, I think we should all give Donna, Sid, and Kevin a big thumbs up. So are you ready? Is everybody ready? Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Big thumbs up to all our inductees, and thanks so much for everything. So if you don't want to unmute and talk, you can go right to town. Thank you, everyone, and good night.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, everyone, and have a great evening and stay safe.
We don't have to
Congratulations,
drive.
everyone.
It's been fun being here.
Congratulations, everyone.
From Grand Bend.
Congratulations.
Grandma.
Congratulations, Farm Grandma.
Congratulations, Grandma.
Thank you, Melissa. Bye, Nancy.
Congrats, Donna.
Congratulations, Dad.
Thanks.
Congratulations.